One of the things that we learn in our history classes is that everything happens for a reason. There's always an effect and a cause. Now, with the modern American economy today, two of the main causes were the Neolithic and Industrial Revolutions. Professor Michael C. Mugner, a political science and economics, and as well as other subjects professor at Duke University with multiple doctorates, has described the Neolithic and Industrial Revolution to be the main causes for today's modern American economy. Now, the Neolithic Revolution was a transition from nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyles into agricultural lifestyles and civilizations, to where people first started to settle down and they had an economy. The Industrial Revolution was a transition from pastoral and handicraft economy with not as many tools and machines to the industrial economy with factories and more workers and a working class as well as a middle class. Now, Derek Thompson, a senior editor at The Atlantic, wrote an article called A World Without Work. In this article, he starts to describe how agricultural technology has introduced the farming industry and how the Industrial Revolution brought people into different factories, into different businesses, and started creating monopolies, things that we see in the modern American economy. And globalization and automation moved people out of factories and brought in technology to replace these people. Currently, we are going through the globalization and automation period. Richard Nixon's address to the nation on Labor Day in 1971 was also very similar to Derek Thompson in some aspects. He believes that humans have a psychological need for satisfaction, and technology is replacing these people in these different jobs that gives them that satisfaction. This is an issue in today's economy. Not only could it cause mental health, but it could cause, would it affect mental health, but it would affect the economy's health as well. Now, this brought on the question that I was thinking in my head as I was reading. How have periods of technological advancements throughout history set the modern American economy up for dysfunction? Now, with this question, I thought about it over and over again, and I came up with a claim. After periods of technological advances throughout human history, the present and future American economy will go through a dysfunctional period with a decrease in jobs, an increase in unemployment, and a shrinkage in the middle class. Now, the Neolithic Revolution was one of the biggest revolutions in the earliest times. Early humans were going through a time where they figured out that they could use agriculture instead of hunter-gathering lifestyles. And this was the first real movement that led to the economy today. Professor Jacob L. Weisdorf at the University of South Denmark, with doctorates in economics and economic history, compares hunter-gatherer lifestyles to agricultural lifestyles. And he argues that the Neolithic Revolution was the actual first real movement, which many other historians agree on. And it's the introduction of agriculture that introduces specialization, which is a very big part, especially in the American economy today. Now, this claim is very similar to Thompson and Munger's, where they agree that it's because of the agricultural revolution that so many people were able to get special jobs and specialization. And it is also agreed that it allowed others to explore more, different techniques, different careers, and have leisure time so they can do what they want. That also brings different happier emotions, and it just makes people overall happier, so they don't have to constantly work. The Neolithic Revolution may not have had a direct cause to the modern American economy, but it is definitely one of the largest factors to consider. In the Industrial Revolutions, Issues and Controversy describes the Industrial Revolution as it starts in Great Britain, but it soon spread all over the world to countries like Canada, the United States, Japan, Central and South Asia, and more places. Now, it's agreed that it started in Great Britain, but all over the world we can see how the Industrial Revolution has affected the modern economy. In America, for example, technology is entering its way into businesses, and it's because it is entering into businesses, it is allowing for better efficiency and more better quality products. Now, productivity is key. This statement is shared by Richard Nixon, as well as Xavier Mensard, partnered with A.T. Kearney, and he advises large multinational companies all over the world, multiple companies, and he agrees that productivity is key. He introduced, now because the Industrial Revolution introduced technology into the workforce, it also led to increase in jobs and factories. Now in this picture, we can see that there are lots of machines, and you can tell that this would be from the Industrial Revolution because there are so many people who are using the machines manually. And that is one of the biggest differences and biggest concerns to think about when we're thinking about how the Industrial Revolution compares to the economy and the workforce today. Many people agree, including Derek Thompson, and that technology manual back then, it still allowed people to have jobs. They had to use that technology for their advantage. But now, because of today's world, all technology is digital, and it is replacing people, and because the technology is running itself instead of people running the technology. Now, in today's revolution, the modern revolution, we can see many different side effects of these previous revolutions. It's introducing digital technology. Again, it is because of the digital technology that jobs are being replaced. It's taking people out of jobs, and it is causing huge flexes in the economy and the workforce. Employment rates are decreasing, and we're going through economic recessions as we speak. Now, Julius Jankowski says that digital technology is actually helping the economy. And yes, it is helping the economy in some aspects, as in the global economy, but here in America, it is taking away jobs. Digital technology may help with communication, it may help with shipments all over the world, but in the United States, it's keeping people from exploring these jobs, it's replacing these people, and that's our biggest concern. Now, the Metropolitan Policy Program at Brookings released this graph to the public in an article, and you can see that this is the U.S. employment in manufacturing industries per 1,000 jobs from 1980 to 2014. And we can see how there's a decrease in jobs. But one of the biggest 2 points that we should look at are the recessions in the early 2000s and over here in 2008, 2009. You can definitely see a large decrease in jobs. And this isn't something that happened 30, 40 years ago. This has been within a decade. Now, these are some of the biggest concerns. We can see how there are jobs increasing, but overall, just in manufacturing itself, jobs have been decreasing. Now, one solution, not direct solution, would be to switch to European education in America. One of the biggest things in European education is how most teenagers and young adults start working in one field from a young age. If we were to do this, it would allow people to be more experienced with technology and run it themselves. But the biggest and overall solution would be to adapt. Now, overall history, throughout human history and evolution, people learn to adapt. And that is how we've been able to survive so long. We've grown so advanced. If people in American societies need to learn to adapt and incorporate jobs with the new technology. The overall solution would stabilize the number of jobs, allow for better payments in the working class, and keep people working with overall satisfaction. Richard Nixon also stated, the competitive spirit goes by many names. Most simply and directly, it is called the work ethic. The United States was founded on hard work, included with the myth of Sisyphus, where hard work leads to satisfaction. It will go to a spiral in the future, and we can prevent that. Evolution is something that occurs naturally in technology, and we need to include that with ourselves. And other revolutions were able to work because the people adapted to technology, and people need to adapt to technology within the modern world.
Okay, Kara, a couple of questions for you. The first one is, how did you select the strategies you used to gather information or conduct research, and do you think they were effective?
I think one of the biggest ways that I used in my research and biggest techniques was just going through different databases and typing in keywords. At first, I started with just the two big revolutions, and I typed in searches Neolithic Revolution and Industrial Revolution. And from those articles I found on Issues and Controversies as EBSCO and with peer-reviewed articles, I was able to find other keywords. And it's from those keywords I was able to find so many other articles. And I feel like this was very effective because it brought me to so many different wonderful resources and critical resources that I was able to use effectively.
Okay. What advice would you have for other researchers who consider the same topic?
I would definitely consider your lenses. As a researcher, I had to go through and figure out what different lenses. I definitely had historical, futuristic, I had a little bit of political, but mostly economic. If you have your main lenses identified, then you'll be able to go through an article and decide if it fits your research or not. There were some articles that I had found on issues and controversies where it had some good information, but it was mostly cultural, and I didn't really have anything else that fit with that. So I decided to use that article again and got keywords from that article and found other articles with political lenses and economic lenses that fit better with my argument.
Okay.